Republican Senator John Thune of South Dakota joins us now. Senator, we're grateful for the time, and I want to start off with the big pressing issue of the week. How real is the prospect, the risk, that Ukraine aid is not approved by the end of the month?
I think it's entirely up to the Democrats here in the Senate, Scott. Honestly, right now, we're prepared. We have a number of Republican senators who are prepared to support Ukraine and their fight to defend their freedoms and sovereignty, to help Israel. And it's a fight against the terrorist organization Hamas, and to support the Taiwan and all the threats, that national security threats that we face in the Indo-Pacific, but not at the expense of leaving our southern border unprotected. And so that's the issue right now. And if the Democrats are willing to work with us on a solution to solve that crisis and protect America's national security right here at home, I think this can get done, at least through the Senate before the holidays. But it's going to take that, and it's going to take some people who are really willing to come to the table in the next few days.
It would seem to be a very bad look for all of Congress to go home for the holidays without tidying up Ukraine aid.
And I don't disagree with that, which again is why I've said all along, we're prepared to have that vote, but we've got to have a border security piece in this package. If it's a national security package, we have a national security crisis at our southern border, 10 to 12,000 people every single day coming into the country illegally that are apprehended, another 1,000 or so that are what we call gotaways. This is a major crisis. I mean, Chris Wray said this week in front of a Senate committee that the lights are all blinking red, and everywhere he turns. And I think that should be a warning to all of us that we have to protect our homeland, and in addition to supporting our national security interests in other places around the world.
Well, let's drill into that issue of border security as part of this package. We're a few weeks away from the first of those deadlines to keep the government open, to prevent a shutdown. Why not put it on one of those spending bills, maybe the Homeland Security spending bill in a few weeks, versus tying it necessarily to Ukraine, which is something the Democrats in the Senate say is unnecessary and political?
I don't see it that way. This is a national security supplemental package. There will be other funding bills that come down the road, but the Democrats have to confront, and they don't want to, and I get that. That's not in there. This is not something they want to do, but it's something we need to do for the good of the country. And I hope that they'll come to the conclusion that the best way to accomplish that is in the context of Ukraine package. The second point I would make about that is this has also to get through the House. To get Ukraine aid through the House, it's going to take something on there to attract House Republicans to vote for it. And that, in my view, is going to be a strong border security. Just about the Senate, it's also about getting this through the House and on the President's desk. It's going to take some work to get there, but I think there's a path forward. I know that there are conversations going on even right now trying to solve this crisis, and I think that's in the best interest not only of Democrats, but Republicans here in both the House and the Senate, and the American people who are demanding a solution at the southern border.
Let's talk more about that. There's been some optimism from the Senate negotiators at times this week. There may be optimism next week. You all can put together a deal. Just a year ago, you put together a deal on gun control. But let's assume there's a compromise that the Senate ekes out on border security. What indication do you have any of that would ever pass muster with House Republicans who have that little 3 to 4 seat majority and are particularly emphasizing a hard line on immigration?
Well, it won't pass in the House without Democrat votes, which is why President Biden is going to at some point have to weigh in this discussion. But what I will tell you is if you want to optimize the Republican vote in the House for this supplemental package, it has to have border security in it. If it doesn't, then you've got a lot of folks over there on both sides, Republicans and Democrats, who probably have a hard time getting to a yes vote on Ukraine. But if you send them a package that has a strong Republican vote in the Senate, that gives them political cover, obviously, in the House, and clearly the bigger vote we get, the more Republicans we get on the package here in the Senate, the stronger the border security piece is. I think the more likely it is that you can secure the requisite number of votes in the House to ultimately get this on the President's desk. Absent that, I don't know how that happens. And so that's I think the dynamic that everybody has to think about here, and why the White House is going to have to engage on this. The President's going to have to at some point help deliver votes in the Senate and in the House for a package to conclude those 4 components.
And we saw some test votes or some symmetrical votes in the House recently, which indicated there are several dozen House members who are just firmly against funding Ukraine. As a member of leadership, do you have a sense of how many Republican senators are in that camp of just firmly against funding Ukraine?
We have a contingent of Republican senators, just like they do in the House of Representatives, which is why, again, to get anything done in the Senate, you've got to have a bipartisan solution. It's going to take votes from both sides to get anything across the finish line. And that's true in the House. I mean, the House is going to have to get Democrat votes to pass anything hard. And, you know, if you look at what the job he has in front of him, clearly it's not an easy one. But I think if we can get a vote out of the Senate that has a good, strong Republican vote, it enhances the prospects that you can get more Republican votes in the House. There's a contingent in the House, just like there is in the Senate, on Ukraine who will probably never get there. But I think you enhance the prospects of passage if you have a good, strong border security component included in this legislation.
Real quickly, what are the prospects of the Senate actually wrapping up its work next week? That's what it says on the calendar. Wondering if that's actually going to hold true.
Yeah, I'm still hopeful and optimistic, but that's kind of my nature. You have to be around here. I'm also a realist. I know we've got a lot to do, but I feel like, at least right now, there is a potential path forward on this border security piece and the discussions that are currently going on, that we could get to a result. And if we do, if we can put something together by next week, I think we could actually move it across the floor of the Senate the following week. And you know, what the House does with it, the House may not be in town, but at least we would have a product out there that could eventually, hopefully, get signed into law by the President. But we want to make sure we're doing our part in the Senate, and the goal, obviously, is to try and get this done before the holidays.
From the Russell U.S. Senate Building, Senator John Thune, thank you very much.
Thanks, Scott. Good to be with you.